Let's talk about courage. I'm Jane Tyson and I founded Resilient Kids. And yesterday's session with the kids, I shared a story. I often share stories. And this story was about courage, finding our brave. So just have a little think now about what that actually means. What does courage mean to you? And where is your courage hanging out right now? Something that we investigated was just the simple act of taking a deep breath when we were feeling a little bit worried about doing something, and just breathing in deeply and out again. And we practiced that a few times. So this morning I woke up and thought, right, I'm going to do a little live about courage, and then decided actually that I wasn't feeling very brave to do it either. So then I really did take a look at what courage meant and explored when I'd been courageous over the past, my lifetime, in fact. Can you think now of a time when you have had to dig into your courage? And what made you do and decide to do the act of bravery or not? I was thinking of a story when I was about 20 and I'd set off to Australia. It was a goal I'd made for myself when I was about 12 or 13, having listened to my father's story of his travels and adventures in Australia when he was considered a £10 pom. He'd gone out on one of the boats and spent 2 years out there. And I'd listened to his stories of things that he'd done. And I set a goal to travel out to Australia and save the money, and was able to work as a teenager and had several different jobs, as I'm sure many of us who are watching were able to do that. You know, again, our kids can't have those experiences now as youths, can they? Health and safety and all that. And when I was out there, I did lots of different things. And one of the things that stuck in my mind, I was thinking about this morning, was when I was in the Blue Mountains. It's just outside of, a couple of hours, I think, outside of Sydney. And I was with a friend. I'd met a friend out there. I'd gone to Australia on my own and always was never alone. And I was with a friend called Sue, and we decided to do this abseiling adventure. And I found myself, at the edge of this huge cliff with a harness on, and I was crying. I was terrified of going over this cliff. But something in me did it. I really wanted to do it. It's that feeling of, I really want to do this and I'm terrified. I'm going to do it. And I just remember feeling so relieved and pleased with myself. But the lady who was running the course with her husband was part of the reason that I did it. And she'd mentioned a book. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. Have any of you heard of that? I don't know if anyone's able to comment if you're watching this. Thank you if you are watching. And I got the book as a result of the lady inspiring me to read it, and subsequently have been to the library, and there's an activity book that goes with it, so you can do little things each day to step out of your comfort zone. And really, the whole book is about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. You probably don't need to read the book. But there are times as well, I feel, in life where we don't do things, but when everyone else is doing it, and we kind of get caught up in that, come on, we're all doing it, you need to do it. And actually, sometimes I've found my deepest courage has come from saying no. Actually, I don't want to do that. I can think of a recent example when we went up to Scotland last year as a family. We took our tent and we went sort of backpacking around the North Coast 500, it's called. And we'd gone on this white water rafting experience, and I didn't know how terrifying it was going to be. And one of the activities was to get out and jump off the cliff. Not cliff, I mean, it's probably exaggeration, but it was into the water from the cliff. And my kids were doing it, my husband did it, and I just felt really frightened. And despite doing the abseiling, I also later on in Australia did a bungee jump, and I think that kind of gave me quite a fear of heights after doing that. And I stood there and they were all going, come on, Mum, and everyone's going, come on, you can do it. And I thought, I'm really feeling afraid, and I actually don't want to do it. And I said, actually, no, I don't want to do this. And I turned around and said, no. And I think it's teaching kids. And I was quite proud of myself, actually. I thought, well, I didn't have to follow everyone else because they were doing it. And I think, in a lot of my sessions with the kids, it's about having the courage to say no and not follow what everyone else is doing sometimes. And that's in itself a courageous act. How about you? What do you think? And I've got a comment here. Let's have a look and see who's here. Oh, thanks, Phil, for being here. I've heard of the book, but haven't read it. Yeah. But I'm sure there's lots of times in your life with all your different wonderful random experiences where you've had to feel the fear and do it anyway. I've got a quote here that I found from Cambridge Dictionary about courage. It says here, courage is the ability to control your fear in a dangerous or difficult situation. Perhaps. A dangerous or difficult situation. Going back to yesterday's session with the kids, I said it's an act of courage being here for many of you, because some of us, it feels natural to kind of come into a situation where we are sociable and find it easy to talk and make friends, but not all of us do. And I know a number of friends and parents who contacted me about the sessions and said, oh, actually, I feel I really want my child to attend. It'd be really beneficial, but it's quite a big thing for them to come, so they don't always come. So I said to the kids last night, the fact that you're here is in itself an act of bravery. You've arrived you're in a virtual situation with loads of other kids that you don't know, and you're actually talking, or we're sharing in the chat, and we're here. So it doesn't have to be a massive thing that we do, although for some of us that is a massive thing. And there's a TED talk. I think if I put it in the chat, yes, I have. It's Teach Girls Bravery, Not Perfection. Teach Girls Bravery and Not Perfection. So that's a really nice TED talk to have a look at as well. We live in a world of perfection. We go on to social media and we see these perfect images, these perfect lifestyles, and it's not true. And I think it's good to question whether things are true and question ourselves if we're not feeling brave. How true is that? Hello, fear. Where is the fear in us and why is it there? And again, let's write about it. Let's talk about it and question it. How true is our fear? Another one here, another quote about courage, is the quality shown by someone who decides to do something difficult or dangerous, even though they may be afraid. I think going back to my rock jumping experience in the summer, I didn't decide to do something that was difficult or dangerous. I actually said, no, I don't want to do it. But sometimes we have to do things, don't we? We have to do things that we don't want to do. And it's finding those times where we tap into that, let's feel the fear and do it anyway. But also, I think we need to know sometimes while we're doing something, why should we bother doing something and tap into all that and have all that fear when we don't want to do it? And I guess, thinking about exams, kids have got exams. My son's got his GCSEs, and it's a fear, isn't it? Not everyone can fly by with exams and finds it easy. There are some of us who can regurgitate stuff quite easily. It seems to fit the current climate of the curriculum. Now, don't get me started on that today. I shared something yesterday from Gareth Williamson, the current Education Secretary, and there's a school that's promoting good behaviour and how they want silent corridors. And I honestly thought it was a joke, the thing that my friend had shared with me and tagged me in. I thought, no, this is a joke. It's satire. It was true. So it's on my Facebook page. Have a look at it. I put it onto LinkedIn as well. I can't believe it. And is it the courage for some of our children to actually start standing up against some of these expectations? We're just going through a huge crisis with COVID, and right now our children need more than anything. They need to be having fun and engagement and play and feeling, a part of something bigger, of a community, and real world thinking and relevancy. And then we're being told that they need to be walking silently along corridors. So I encourage you as parents watching this, is this true? Is this what they need right now? What can we do as parents, as a collective, to stand up against some of this nonsense? But that's another aside. But if you want to get involved, I've also spoken to my ambassador yesterday, Jackie, I've got some ambassadors for Resilient Kids, and I'm very grateful for them. And something she suggested is to set up on a platform something called Stoic Parents Fight Club, because there's enough of us, I think, now. There's a movement, there's a rise of feeling of frustration with the current education system, that maybe there's more parent power and people setting up, I know, their own schools, their own global initiatives. So question, how right is it what's going on right now, and what do our children really need right now? And kids will learn courage from parents modeling it, from adults modeling it too, and stories about courage, not just stories from picture books, but stories that we share, passed down from our ancestors, and just simple stories, simple acts of courage, sharing when we felt afraid to do something. And maybe for some of us that is even turning the door handle and stepping outside. Some of us are fearful of going out beyond the door. Let's not take that for granted. Some of us, the things that we find easy may not be easy for other people. So sharing those stories with your kids will encourage courage. Now, is there anything else I wanted to say here today? And I guess there's no kind of particular answer for this today. It was more just I wanted to talk about it and get some conversations going. So I have the Facebook group where I'm streaming this into. I've also done a live on my Instagram page this morning. All of those links can be found in this bit.ly Resilient Kids info. So it might be that we could have another conversation. I'd love you to come and speak with me on this channel. This is, I've called it Resilient Kids number 7. Let's talk about courage. But perhaps, you have got something you'd like to share, feel passionate about, and you'd love to come on here with me and talk. I would love for you to join me, because it's not as fun being on my own here talking as it is when there's more of us. Okay, here we go. I find this from the book Dune by Frank Herbert, to be powerful in the face of fear. It's the Bene Gesserit Litany against fear. Now, on Sundays, I host a radio show with my friend Jason, and we talk about words we can't say. And this is one of them right now. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Oh, that is amazing. That's really super. Thanks for sharing that, Phil. And I'll put that into a post and into a blog after this. I collect stuff from here. I'll leave it up for a moment. Going to scroll through here, see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Yeah, giving permission for imperfection. There's a book I read as well about finding our brave and feeling more courageous. I'll share it in the sessions. Bravery doesn't mean fearlessness. I got this off Google. It means that we do not let fear hold us back from exploring new possibilities. And just to finish, I guess, in terms of what I'm talking about with my rant about education earlier, our children are 21st century children, and now is the time for change, for radical change to this outdated system, and and to find some courage, I think, as a collective, to do something about it and to put our children at the centre of future education. I've seen a complete I've really seen it over the years. I've seen, this decline in our children's mental health and well-being. And I know technology, and there are so many factors that cause it and are contributing to it. But I also feel that a large part of it is the decline in creativity, in playfulness in schools, in taking away ownership and voice for our children. So, Resilient Kids is all about vision, vitality, and voice. And I'm all about giving children a voice, and they need it more than ever. So thank you for watching. I'm Jane Tyson. This has been a talk about let's talk about courage, and I'd look forward to some more conversations with you. And thank you so much for joining me today and participating. And if you're watching this after, continue to engage, please, and comment, chat, and join the groups. Thank you very much. I'm Jane Tyson. Thank you for watching.